MLT, Group Project, Student Engagement, a Cool Ed Podcast, 7/30/2011.
Hello everyone, this is the Cool Ed team. My name is Carrie Huntley and I'm going to introduce our big idea. Our big idea was incorporating something new to improve student engagement. We noticed that students are not fully engaged while doing routine vocabulary assignments. We would like to challenge students to make terms and definitions more meaningful by making personal connections with them. Some of our essential questions that we came up with are: how can we improve engagement in vocabulary? What activities could we use in vocabulary to increase that engagement? What strategies can we make vocabulary more interesting? How do we hit more multiple intelligences while teaching vocabulary? Would increasing engagement also increase retention of terms and definitions? We wanted something that we could implement today, something that wouldn't cost a lot of money, something that would increase engagement without taking up too much extra time, which, as we all know, as educators, time is our greatest asset. So our challenge, we ultimately decided on introducing a 3-column vocabulary chart to increase student engagement, especially focusing on that third column, which is the most engaging part. And Thomas will tell us what a 3-column vocabulary chart is and how to use it. Take it away, Thomas.
Hey, thanks, Carrie. 80 to 90% of all information that is absorbed by our brain is visual. So, the old way of doing vocabulary, where you have students write down the term and definition on a blank piece of paper, is definitely not going to reach all students, especially ones that learn visually. With 3-column vocabulary, it's pretty simple. I opened up an Excel document. I made 3 columns, one for the term, one for the definition, and the third column is either for a picture, which is preferred, sometimes not always an option. So you can also write a sentence or some type of association. For instance, if the term was water, for a picture, obviously, you could have a drop of water or many other things. But sometimes I have kids just write H2O, the chemical formula for water. So to apply this to the classroom, we came up with an idea to group 2 vocabulary chapters into one unit. For example, cells. There's several chapters about cells, so we would pick 2 of the chapters and put them into one unit. So the first chapter, students would do vocabulary the regular way. The second chapter, we would have them use the 3-column vocabulary sheet to see if that would engage them more in the activity and also improve their scores along the way. Visuals are an important key to remembering content. Our goal is to remember the vocabulary. You could deliver the 3-column vocabulary sheet in 2 ways. You could actually give them the document as a file, and a lot of students like to actually do things like this online, typing them and finding pictures from the internet. For our purposes, however, we will have the students actually draw the pictures themselves. Once again, not looking for the quality of the artwork, but to keep the data more true, it's just a better idea to have all of them do it by hand. However, the example in this video, it is done on the computer. All I did was write the word cell, and then I wrote the definition, the smallest unit of life, and then I went on Picasa and found a couple pictures, one of a plant cell, one of an animal cell, and shrunk them down and stuck that in the column. Once students are done with both vocabulary activities, you would want to issue a similar quiz that would test the knowledge over the chapter vocabulary that was done exclusively by hand, with them writing the term and the definition, and then quiz them on the other chapter that was done including the 3rd column in the vocabulary assignment. I've been using 3-column vocabulary for years in my biology, geology, earth science classes. And I always notice an improvement when I do use the third column. It really does not seem to matter either if they do it by hand or use the computer. The end result they're going to have, if it's done properly, of course, you're going to have students with a vocabulary sheet to study that not only gives them the term and the definition, but also some type of picture, sentence, or association to go along with it. And now I'd like to turn it over to Dana to present some of our formal research.
According to the article, 10 Steps to Better Student Engagement by Tristan DeFranville, teachers should create active learning environments where most of the time students are on task in thinking and speaking or collaboratively working. According to Strengthening Student Engagement by Richard Jones, teachers should not expect students to come to class already engaged, but instead take responsibility for engaging the students. Jones also says that teachers should get to know the students and use examples that relate to their background, culture, and prior experiences to personalize learning. Jones also states that a variety of instructional strategies and active learning strategies, such as cooperative learning, should be used to add interest and engagement.
Thanks, Dana. And now Tim with some more research.
In an article by Lane and Allen, we see an excellent example of the importance of engaging students early on with vocabulary. Lane and Allen share a story of his kindergarten class where each morning during circle time, the students are assigned a role. Early in the school year, the teacher starts out with simple names for the roles, such as zookeeper or weatherman. Lane and Allen go on to explain that the weatherman is asked each day to go outside the classroom and look at the weather and then come back and tell the class. At first, this student uses words like sunny, as these are the limits of their vocabulary. As the year progresses, students are given names such as animal nutrition specialist and meteorologist instead of zookeeper or weatherman. Now, the meteorologist was asked to do the daily weather report and this time responded with an answer like, "It's going to be rather brisk today." When the teacher was asked about the amazing change in vocabulary, she explained that by modeling and meaningful practice provided them with a comfort level in using the words. By this example, we can see that engaging students in their education will prove useful to them in the future as they learn to read or enter the business world.
Thanks, Tim. And now let's wrap up our research portion with George.
My name is George Dean, and this article that I'm going to discuss is entitled Reflections from the Right Zone, the Farrago Project, and the Student Engagement in a Besieged Community. It's taken from the Journal of Children in Poverty, September 2008, Volume 14, Issue 2, page 157 through 171. The article talks about how highly effective student engagement assumes that the teacher and the students are involved in student-teacher conversations that strongly encourage and negotiate learning situations that bring about mutually stimulating and enjoyable emotions associated with classroom work. The classroom process is to aim is to build a reflective, supportive learning community. In tandem, the research is suggesting that the dual approach builds classrooms where students are challenged and motivated and are given opportunities to become more successful learners. They feel valued in an atmosphere of sharing and reflection where their voices as learners are encouraged and also respected by not only the teacher but their peers as well in their classroom.